In this class, we're going to cover 3 points. The first one, we're going to look at common Midi editing and recording functions. We'll see velocity and quantization. Next, we're going to talk about the mixture. How does it work, the mix console in Cubase? And you need to know that in order to mix some instruments when you start building some cues or some songs. And then we'll talk about samplers. So we're going to talk about 2 free ones, and then we will cover Contact. So let's get started. But before we start, someone asked me the other day, how do you do? Your project doesn't start at 1 or 0, it starts at -3. And it's a good question. Sometimes when we compose, we want to have more freedom and do not start at bar 1. We want to be creative. So maybe you want to start at bar 0 and have plenty of space before. So you're going to click on Project here, and you're going to go down to Project Setup and look for the tab here called Project Time Displays. The box that we want to edit is this one here, Display Bar Offset, and you can set as many as you want. I just choose 4 bars, and it makes the project starting at -3, I have the 0, and then the first bar here. This gives me more freedom when I'm composing. Now we're going to talk about velocity. What is velocity? Well, to make it short, is the force with which a note is played or recorded, and it's vital. I said that, yeah? Vital, yeah. It's very important to use it because if you do not play or arrange or edit your velocity, your instrument will sound mechanical and it's going to make your performance sounds like a robot. Let me add an instrument here. I'm going to use an instrument from Sign Player here. I'm just going to open this grand piano here, sustains. All right, so in Midi, velocity is how much you press a key. This is very, very low. There's a variation in the volume of the note. When you play something on the piano or any other instrument, you can edit the velocity of the note afterward. So let me just record something on the piano, put a click, 120, and let's do this. Here I have my Midi information recorded. Remember, you can click W to open the window or just double click here. Now we're in the piano roll and you see that all my notes, they have a different color, right? We go from blue to red here. And this is just to show the velocity of your note, how hard you pressed on the keyboard when playing. Maybe the velocity of one note, for example here, these 2 notes are red. That means it's going to be very hard. And if I want to edit this and reduce, I want them to be soft. I just select them. I can do this like this. Select them and come in that box here called velocity. You see it here, it's written velocity. I'll make sure to zoom on that later. So velocity is here. So you can edit with your draw, and you can edit the velocity of your notes. So now they're softer. And I hear you. Is there a key command for that? Yes, there's a key command for that to go faster in your workflow. So you're going to use the Control and the Shift key on your keyboard. You're going to press them. As you press them, you're going to see when you go over a note, you see sort of a speaker, right? And you can play with the velocity by just going up or going down, right? And you can select, for example, this whole bunch here and just press on your keyboard, Control and Shift, and play with the velocity of your notes. You can see the velocity of the note by just selecting the note here, and look in your bar here, you have information. So this note is at a velocity of 62. I could change everything here by just clicking in this bar and editing velocity this way. If you start recording a piano part and you want to make it feel human, of course a human is not going to play always like this. A human is going to put some emotion in. Some notes are going to be soft and others will be stronger. So you want to recreate that. And maybe you've played it on your keyboard, or maybe you input them with your drawing tool, but make sure to edit velocity this way to create a human feel. Remember that you can quantize. By quantizing, I mean to put everything right on the beat by selecting every note in your piano roll and pushing Q on your keyboard and place all the notes this way. But sometimes quantize makes it feel like a robot. If we want to emulate more of a human playing, we can edit the quantizing preset. So if you go on the top right of your window here, we have a show hide left zone. Sometimes it's shown, sometimes it's not. On mine it's not shown, so I'm just going to click here to access to more options. So I click here on the left panel here, and I'm just going to go on quantize here. If you want to make it sound more human, you're going to select here to quantize strength, maybe to 80%. This is going to quantize the notes, but not 100% on the beat. It's going to be a bit offbeat, which make it sound like a human playing or human performance, because no player is playing 100% right on the beat. If you're writing music like hip-hop, EDM, of course you want things to be right on the beat, because that's how people are used to listen to their music. So you can select and keep it to 100% here in the quantize strength. So you can keep it to 100% in the quantize strength. But if you're writing some pop music, orchestral music, or whatever kind, that doesn't really need to be right on time. You're going to select here 80%. That will make your quantization feel more human. So now let's listen to what I wrote. Let's say that I'm satisfied with what I wrote here in the key editor or the piano roll. I can get out of here. Now I have this in my whole project. I just wrote this. And I would like to double this, maybe to make it twice. But before you start editing in this window, copy, paste, duplicate, triplicate, is that a word? You want to make sure that your information is within your bars. So again, I'm just going to go into key editor here and make sure that my first notes here, you see they're not on the bar 2, so I'm just going to select them and quantize to make sure that I am on time. The last one here should also be in your editor, maybe like this. Now I want to duplicate this, so I have two options. You can select this on your keyboard, Control D. So what it does, it's this, Control D, almost 20 bars of music now. Right? And I could do this for ever and ever, right? I could use Control D and duplicate until the end, right? That's maybe too much, and you would get bored of this 120 bars of the same riff. Another way to copy is by just clicking Alt on your keyboard here, and you'll see when I click Alt, there's this small tool appearing, and you're just gonna select this and drag it where you want. Remember that you can use the number 3 if you're like, I don't like this part, maybe I'm gonna cut this and get rid of it, select, boom. And you can do a whole lot of things with those tools, right? Copy, paste. Copy, paste, of course, you could use the Control C and again, delete this and just select here and Control V. That's an option too.